And I had to dig really deep. And because of the work that I do, I have to keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And sometimes it's really tough. But then it brings up that when I work with clients, sometimes we expect them to know themselves, right? I guess we were saying, well, they should know, right? And they only just begun, right? So as facilitators, we have to be aware of how difficult coming to the alternative program, how difficult it is for them to process. And a lot of them get in trouble because really and truly they have no idea who they are. They're living what other people, meaning their peers, their friends, everybody tell them they should be. And it's our responsibility now to help give them a different path and show them how the journey can be different. So it's tough. We have to be able to reflect and to understand in order for us to show them how to reflect and understand. So it's
really 20, 30 years ago. To say who you are then doesn't necessarily mean who you're going to be 30 years later. So that's the thing about the journey. And I think when you speak to clients, you have to make them or give them the benefit of your experience. That who you think you are now will change or may change.
Some time ago, I would have done, maybe some years ago, a similar exercise, especially with the question in terms of purpose. And as I reflected, I realized that purpose is not static, but as you grow, your purpose expands, things changes, and you have to rethink and reevaluate and do things differently.
Absolutely.
happy.
Unsure.
Cool.
Energetic. Grounding.
Pay attention.
And then we could probably come up with an affirmation or let them just say one word.
No, I want to know about you.
Oh,
This is your group.
Oh, I thought I wasn't here, so I was just following you. I was just
You're not doing good.
I did!
You said group, I didn't say which
So we
group.
do the same thing and then we're like, you know what, we are the best.
That's right.
So okay, so we are the best.
Yes, we are.
Good morning to you.
And how do you do?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
First of all, what was your experience working together, building this program?
There was team effort. Some of us are less visual, well, let me say the more. Some of us are more visual in that area than others. We use the colors to code to get the parts to fit together, but it was team effort. So we have the Rheumatoid process, thoughts and roads. We recognize, we understand, manage, express, and reflect our thoughts, interactions, mindsets, and emotions that we have toward ourselves, others, and situations. I'm supposed to step the time again.
You said it
Right.
right.
Yeah, but I feel like that means something. Recognize your time, thoughts. Yes, I know I have to say that.
You have to say it in that way,
Yes.
but we understood what you meant.
Okay.
All right. So you like the whole puzzle exercise?
Yes.
Yeah. And now it kind of reinforces the rheumatoid process for you. But for all of
say it by according to the trend I have.
Right, right.
I was coming down and memorizing it this morning.
You were trying to memorize it this morning, but I think by the time you leave here, I think it would stick.
But I got through.
You got through it. All right, very well. Shane, can you share with us your picture yesterday, your mindfulness, and probably what you wrote?
So my picture yesterday was
Can you
I'm
hold it up so
happy.
they-
I am happy, and I added I'm happy when I am planting or interacting with flowers.
Okay.
Yes. Just the colors, the variety helps me to understand myself more and people because we come in variety. Some of us have, I love chromophons. Some of us, we are a little funny and some are a little gentle. Yeah.
All right, thank you. There's an exercise happening. Let's focus on this table, please.
So yesterday I am terrific. I didn't feel so terrific yesterday, so I didn't write anything. But I think I'm terrific when I feel safe. Yes.
I looked at the picture and I really liked that, you know, the fruit was just bursting and sharing seeds everywhere. I was like, wow, my seeds are going to fall and they're going to grow up again and we're going to bear more fruits. So I said I am grateful for the many fruitful seeds in my life, my son, and all the opportunities to grow, learn, experience, express, and enjoy.
Aw, it's lovely.
I wouldn't say that coloring is one of the gifts that I was given, but I enjoyed doing what I did. And when I look at this picture, you see the strength of character in his face, determination. I believe I'm a strong leader. I'm a leader in my church. I'm a leader in my community. And I'm a leader at work. And I succeed in motivating people and getting them to follow where I live.
I found out. Which one? This one. I like this one. Yeah, I prefer this one. I am an artist. I studied art at school and college, and I never followed through. And I haven't drawn anything for years. I normally sketch things and do portraits, and I haven't done anything for years. I just left that on the back burner. So when I started colouring again, I was like, oh my goodness. Can I have yours, please? Can I have yours? Can I have yours? And so I took everybody else's. And I did. Well, I knew you hated it. He gave me some more this morning, so I've been colouring and colouring. I'm thinking, you know what? I need to get back to do this. So I need to.
There's some persons that's inspired in the back. Okay, sorry.
But I am. Yeah.
Here, Nicole, on this table, they want to see.
Should the back as well?
And it was, I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable now because, yeah, my dad is dying right now and he's in Canada and I just left him. And so yesterday it was a real, because again, if we keep taking it back to the youth or whoever we're working with, people don't know people's stories, you know? So this really helped me, just the coloring, to ground me, and my words were, I am hopeful. And so a lot of it was around, I am hopeful, I will know what to do when the waves come crashing. I am hopeful I will continue to find and build and nurture community here in Grenada and find career paths forward. I am hopeful my dad will find his way through these days with courage and community. And I'm hopeful my mom and my brother will find their way. And so that really did ground me. And last night I was grounded yesterday by being with everyone and being in community, and then last night, explosion, because my dad was really bad yesterday, and my brother and my mom have different worldviews around death. They don't want to let him go. He's suffering. I feel the man wants to go, and he's told me he wants to go, and I think in our systems we don't let people die. We just keep feeding them and hoping, you know, and we feel they just have to live and live and live and live, and I just think, how do we move that? So last night was a moment of recognizing, like, where do we recognize? I was really mad. I hung up the phone. I didn't hang up on my mom because I've done this work. I've been doing this work. I've got a lot of Buddhist teachings behind me, so I've done this work in actually recognizing, okay, where am I at? Because once you name it, then you don't explode, you don't go off. You can stop and take that moment. And so I didn't explode on my mom because I knew that would just, you know. So I just hung up, and I was able to kind of recognize it, breathe through it, check myself. I could have, if I didn't do that, I could have written a nasty email to my brother and say what's going on and blah, 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 blah. I didn't, because I knew that would escalate the whole thing. I was able to call my Aunt Sally, who we aligned together, and I could just outload there. So it was really bringing back to, okay, what do I do? How do I recognize? How do I understand? What do I do with that understanding? How do I skillfully and compassionately move forward with that? And that's more probably moving into managing. I'm managing it. I'm expressing it through my Aunt Sally. And then I'm reflecting. And that's my book. I write journals and journals and journals and journals to do the work. And my reflections last night was recognizing a couple of times in this space I got quite passionate about, okay, well, how do we do this with the kids? How do we recognize, because it's hard work. We can't, how do we do it with ourselves? And it's every day, and it's not just about, it's about, there's a lovely saying that says it's not just about going through the emotions, but again, I guess it's about the wisdom to having, again, perspective on our perspective, being able to know, okay, we're going through it, and every day we're going through all these different things, and we're reacting. And I think with the youth, how do we do it so that how do we simplify it? So I guess my reflections were around, okay, how do we simplify it? How do we, I do theater, I do poetry, so it's how do we bring more creatively so that they can really relate to this stuff, you know? And even with, like, I think we can spend session after session on just recognizing, you know, because that's, and then once we recognize it, then where do we go with the managing of it? And with the youth that I worked in different environments and different spaces, recognizing it. So one of the activities, I'm sorry I'm taking a lot of space, but I feel really passionate about it. It's okay.
Because of how she is on me, so
I was shaking so.
no, because of what she said, and because I can somewhat identify with her, because my brother is also ill, and he has kidney failure. So he's at end-stage kidney failure, and I've also lost a brother 3 years ago with the same disease again. So it's like the emotions and the memories and everything just become alive again, and at this table we had a moment of sharing our thoughts and our feelings as we were doing Room Time. And I was able to identify with some of the emotions that I felt, from switching to being happy and joyful when I came in, to discussing death, and then I felt kind of sad, and then I could have identified with her as to how she felt. So it was just a whole sort of mix of emotion at this time. So we're gonna do this one here. I look at this picture and it says, I am Karen, and I had the opportunity to reflect on it, and it is so me. It just speaks Nikita all over it, because I believe I am a very caring person. And given the field that I am in at present, I am a social worker, so you have to have this caring, compassionate thing about you. I am a personality, and I think that is just me. Some of the things I have here, I am helpful. I love helping my clients, especially when they got their needs fulfilled. I'm joyful. I love volunteering with non-profit organizations and churches. I don't need money. I am not externally motivated, but rather intrinsically. I sacrifice my own needs and wants for somebody else, so I will quickly give up what I need just to see that you're happy, that you're content, and that you're able to live a fruitful life. I give up my own rights for peace sake. So I am rather a peacemaker. I don't like confusion or anything like that. I prefer that everybody lives very happy and comfortably.
So mine was Love Is. I'll show you. I'll show everybody again. And the first thing that I put on this paper was being patient with myself. And then I added to that self-compassion. And for me, I think that those two things are really important, because often when we think about love, we kind of think about like the other as opposed to ourselves. But personally, I am generally very hard on myself, and it kind of sets me back in many ways and in many different parts of my life. So I felt like that was really important for me. When I thought of the word love, I just thought of like, that's where I am right now, is kind of learning to love myself and be compassionate with myself. And as far as the rumorized table goes, I think I'm in a place where I recognize it and I'm kind of understanding it. But I need to do some more work with this particular part of me, and I know that that's important for the kind of work that I want to do as well. And just in terms of my how I deal with relationships with other people in general, because I need to be able to have that love for myself and that understanding and patience with myself before I could kind of express that to everybody else. And yeah, that's it. Two times.
Right, so for me, it says I am trustworthy, and when I started working on this, I wanted to speak about being trustworthy in terms of what I do, in terms of my job, but it got me thinking a little deeper. And I thought, I'm not just trustworthy in terms of what I do as my job, but generally as a person, I think I'm trustworthy. While everybody else was sharing, I started thinking, what am I going to share? Because I thought everybody was just sharing so much. And for me, the exercise for me, it meant that I'm a trustworthy person, and it brought me back to thinking about areas in which I show the fact that I'm trustworthy. And then I started thinking maybe I should not share because this is not as deep as what everybody else was sharing. But then I said, no, I want to share because in the group there might be some persons, or the group that you're working with, there might be persons who this is what means the world to them, and they might think, no, I can't share because I'm not, I don't have a story as everybody else does.
Thank you.
And then that could also make the person start maybe comparing themselves or thinking, okay, so maybe I should not be here, or I don't have anything to gain from the experience here. So that's the reason why I decided that I was going to share. Because the fact is, I'm a trustworthy person, and this is what means a lot to me.
Thank you.
Amen.
Yes.
Okay, on my picture, I've got a flower, and it simply says, I'm cordial. And in my words, it says, at all times.
Okay, so tell us about that gesture you just made.
Oh.
Yeah. Tell us about that. What's that about?
The statement in itself is a bit in your face. By me saying at all times, it's kind of like smug or being sure of yourself kind of thing. And it's a lot of the times it's very hard for us to give ourselves compliments or see the things that's good in us. So even when we do say it, there's a element of being bashful, and you think to yourself, oh my gosh, did I just say that? Because, you know, everybody has a different opinion of the person without being judgmental. But so I guess that's why when I said I'm cordial, especially for Miss Charles and Miss Lalji, and I said at all times, that's why I did the...
And I said it's true.
Thank you. Yeah.
So you were having a moment of, would you say, some insecurity about that statement?
No. I'm not,
Okay.
no. It was more for shy. Grounded, I would like to say.
Grounded.
Try to ground myself
Oh,
again.
okay.
It wasn't a case of, because I truly believe that I try to be cordial at all times. And for me, I think that's one of the things in working with young people. You know, you kind of always have to judge how they feel, how they think, or what's going on with them, and be mindful of how you approach situations. So for me, I think that's one of my strengths.
Okay. I would like you to say that last part louder.
I think that's one. Okay, it is one of my strengths.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing.
Balance. And just said balance is, and I had to feel that for myself, right? And I said balance is life. It's wealth. It's success. It's happiness. It's discipline. It's a principle. Temperance. And I had to ask, where would I find balance? And I answered that question that balance is found in nature, right? And why do I say nature? Because everything in nature, for nature to be effective and to get good results, you would have to have balance. If the soil is too acidic, there wouldn't be any yielding of your crops. If the branch is not strong enough, you may not hold that fruit or that bunch of fruits, right? And for me personally, balance is using my time wisely, using my gift to help humanity, preserving my temper, my body, and knowing how to handle my money as well, my treasure. The 4 T's I call it: time, talents, temper, and treasure. I usually tell my students that the reason why you're being here is to learn how to, or to be educated on how to use the 4 T's: your time, your talents, your temper, and your treasure. So this is balance for me.